thank you for our health and our family and everything. And Father, give us the wisdom to make good decisions and to make the right decisions. We just keep you all going on and pray. Thank you for all things you give us. In Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
Representative Stanbridge.
Here.
Representative Ward.
Made it.
Here.
Representative Chestnut. Representative Fuller. Here. Representative Hammond.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Jones.
Here.
Representative Morris. Representative Green.
Here.
Representative Underwood.
Here.
Representative Wood. Representative Woods. We have one.
Okay, thank you. Clerk, will you call the first bill or our only bill?
Senate Bill 298.
Okay, Senator Jones, I appreciate you getting here on short notice and please present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. We appreciate y'all getting it up on short notice. This is a bill I've been working on for over a year, and things just came together finally. But what this does is it creates a statewide master plan. We've got some money in the ETF supplemental to go through JSU. They have the only trail science program in the state. They're going to coordinate and develop a master plan. And the Outdoor Recreation Council, if it meets all the criteria in the bill, they're under Innovate Alabama, they're going to approve it. And once that happens, this bill kind of kicks in. We have two pots of money, one for greenway construction and one for acquisition of or the right of way of the property. So we've got some money in the budget currently for the acquisition fund, for the construction fund to do all that. So we're kind of hoping that everything kind of comes together here. But what happens is the local groups on the ground that are currently doing greenway projects, they can tap into these resources. And if they build kind of in coordination with the master plan, then they're eligible for grants either for the construction or for the property acquisition. And it entitles them to certain benefits. So if they comply with the master plan, use the state dollars, and our friends from Alpha and the Trial Association have agreed on liability protections for the property owners, fencing requirements for the adjacent property owners to protect them. So what this does is it kind of incentivizes what I call the worker ants on the ground to kind of coordinate and build together for a statewide vision. You can see sort of what that would look like. This is not anything set in stone. This is just a concept drawing, but this would be kind of a concept of phase one, taking some of the existing things there. You can see them in red and yellow that are around the state, kind of tying some of those in together. You can see on the front of this graphic that every dollar spent on trail construction one time generates $1.72 annually from local business revenue, sales tax revenue, and benefits related to health and transportation. So there are a few frequently asked questions down here at the bottom. This is not the state doing this. This is just the state kind of helping with the planning and helping coordinate local groups on the ground who are doing this. And many of y'all are familiar with the Hoover Institute report that said outdoor recreation is the most underutilized resource we have as a state to recruit people to live and work in Alabama, retain our young workforce, and attract tourism. So happy to entertain any questions. All the stakeholders we've talked to are good with the bill. Innovate folks are comfortable with the language that's in the bill.
Representative Underwood.
Thanks. So I have two questions. The supplemental and in the budget, kind of you roughly how much those are already set aside, just roughly?
So there's $850,000 for the master plan to develop all that. That's in the supplemental through JSU, through Innovate to JSU. And then there's $15 million for some initial construction that's in the ETF supplemental for the construction fund.
Will any of the funds that are coming to Innovate Alabama be available for this? You know?
Yes, so they've got a big pot of funds for outdoor recreation. However, they've got, I serve on the Outdoor Rec Advisory Council.
Sweet.
They've got a list of about a dozen things that they're trying to do. So we wanted to have separate funding because they're trying to do a one-stop app for the state so that you can, wherever you are, you can figure out, what's around you that's available to do. Marketing and branding for all that stuff. There are a long list of priorities they have coming out of that fund.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You have something?
So some of us went to the Sportsman Caucus breakfast this morning and listened to Commissioner Blankenship speak and learned that we have 285,000 acres of forever wildland. And I asked him, is there, some way that we got this map system, how these lands are laid out that, because he said 97% of them people are utilizing. How do we make sure, or are we through this process, bringing those lands together, as, for some of those forever wild and some of the, I guess we do have a lot of other lands that may be in this system besides forever wild?
That's a great question. I'll direct you, in the bill, let me find where it's at. Page 6 is on mine, around line 157. So they're gonna incorporate a whole bunch of things, existing and planned greenways, public lands, and it mentions forever wild in there. State forests, forest lands, state parks, conservation areas, access points to hiking trails and blueways. Then you've got historically significant trails, roads, and abandoned railways. So things like the old federal highway, for example, might be one. Trail of Tears might be another. Land for rail banking that's suitable. Tourism trails like your wine trails, your civil rights trail, general tourist destinations, things that attract people. They're going to look at all that when they develop the framework.
All right, I sit on here the Singing River Trail. So I know North Alabama, I have actually given money for that Singing River Trail. So are we trying to tie in?
Yes, so if you look at the map here,
Yeah.
you see the Singing River Trail, that top part that connects to Mississippi,
Right.
Georgia, and Tennessee, that's already kind of planned, so we kind of tied it in here. John Kovach with Singing River has been key. Matter of fact, their logo is on the bottom of this next to Alta. He's been one of the key folks that we've coordinated with, and Alta, the group that they contract with, is actually the one who put this rough map together. Their logo is at the bottom as well. But yes, it would all tie in together, and they've kind of been the key person we've been talking to and how this all fits and works together.
I got you. And JSU, Jackson State, exactly what are they doing with the program?
So JSU is the one who's going to be the pass-through entity for the master plan. So they'll contract and have their folks kind of help with it. They won't do it, but they'll be involved with it because they have the only trail science program. You can get a trail science degree at Jackson State, and that's for how to construct trails, how to maintain trails, how to, the layout and design, all that kind of stuff. So it's really a good thing for them. It helps this, but it also helps them in that program.
As a Jackson State alumnus, I'll do a favorite report.
Okay, he's on.
That's worthy.
Yeah, I'll make it.
Yeah.
A motion.
We've all got our red, most of us got our red on, so that works.
We got a motion on the floor first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, now it's time for discussion.
I just say this is a brilliant idea, and I'm in full support of something like this, and I'm only envious that it couldn't.
Well, thank you.
It might have been somewhere in my head at some point in my life.
This this may take a long time to finish and a lot of money, but we can't do it unless we start.
Started,
So.
yeah, started.
Thank you.
I got another question or two, but and the reason is because I just kind of heard about it, but I didn't really know any details until yesterday.
Right.
When I got the bill, so kind of apologize for a little more questions than
That's
I
fine.
normally would in committee. But so we take this and what you got put together is the Innovate Alabama. Is that kind of the coordinator? Somebody's got to coordinate. So who is like taking that umbrella and like we're the go-to?
So the Outdoor Recreation Council, so under Innovate, there's an Outdoor Recreation Council, which
that's who's setting up.
That's right. And they report to Innovate. And then under them, which I think we're probably going to go away, but I sit on the advisory council, which is 15 folks, everything from bird watchers to kayakers and in between are on that advisory council. So, but the larger 3 folks that are on the Outdoor Rec Council would approve it subject to Innovate.
Okay, so that's kind of and so if I understand your bill right, what it's trying to do is take these spotty trails we've got around the state, kind of look at those, incorporate them into a master plan of trying to connect everything that can be in years as we can. Is that
That's right.
kind of what you're trying to do, is make a system?
That's exactly right. And the state won't be doing any building or design. We'll just be coordinating the 501Cs, the cities, the counties, everybody that's on the ground doing this, kind of helping everybody work toward a shared vision. And our biggest competition, I'll just say to your point, is North Carolina. They are trying to link, right now they're in the process of linking all 100 counties in North Carolina together by Greenway. And it's a huge, people are traveling to North Carolina for that,
Yeah.
to do that, to be, to go on the Greenway network.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Where would this be built? Like through a national forest or abandoned railroads or give me an example. I mean, if it was a new trail.
So all of that would be up for consideration where it would go. And I should mention too, this is all totally voluntary. So if property owner doesn't want to do it, they don't do it. If a city, county doesn't want to participate, they don't participate. It's all people who want it in their area and they want to participate with their property. If they do it, they get the perk of the liability protection and the fencing to keep people from a swimming pool or, things of that nature. So it would bring all those together. So forest lands, state parks, any other conservation areas, forever wild areas, river walks in the city, for example, rails to trails, for example, tourism trails.
You'd have, this is how I'm envisioning it, because this is kind of what we did somewhat in the city of Fairhope. You'd have the whole map, the state of Alabama, and you start putting all the inventory of your state parks, forever wild, any of these local parks, greenways, rivers, creeks, and it's just being overlay on this map. And then you start figuring out, okay, which is the best way to kind of connect these together? And what are some of our huge natural resources that we need to kind of highlight? And is there something else we need to acquire to make this connection possible? It's just kind of looking at this whole,
That's right. If you notice on this, what they kind of did, they kind of just followed the rivers. This is not a true master plan. This is just somebody in a couple of hours put this together, but they largely just said, hey, we'll make these things follow the rivers on this. So that would be part of it too, most likely, places where recreation's happening.
Okay, something else?
One more. Did you say John Kress? Is that who? Do you know John?
Yeah, John Fox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fox, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy over Singing River Trail. He's been a key person. I've asked, questions, and he's been involved in getting all this legislation kind of in the works. I met with him about a year ago up in Scottsboro.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
He's been a good friend and involved every step of the way.
and I'd like to make one more comment. So,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
You like this, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. It's I see it. Envisioning it, and I can even see you have this trail system. People stop with the kayaks or have a stopping point in some of our small towns. Be able to come up and have a restaurant and have to stay in a small town. They'll bike on up or whatever, through the whatever trail system that we have. That's probably how they're doing it in North Carolina.
That's exactly right. And I should have mentioned, since this is development committee, that's what is part of it's tourism and outdoor recreation. Part of it's development. Is where these things go. You're going to have vendors, restaurant, food trucks, hotel. All sorts of things will follow. Bike repair shops, for example. Once it's there and people are coming, there'll have to be stuff come along to facilitate their needs. People see a
Sparking
business opportunity.
local businesses and small business opportunities.
All right, we finished? All right, we got a motion, a second. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just for long term though, this is a supplemental, fund through supplemental, meaning during leaner years, this work will just slow down. You probably won't receive the funding for this. I'm not saying you personally, but this program. So this is something that can be slowed down or turned off, is depending on what our finances are looking at the time.
That's right. If revenues dry up or slow down, the economic downturn, then the locals just have to kind of continue on their own. But we are looking at maybe getting a permanent line item in the budget or something in the future, or a revenue stream of some sort that's untapped.
I guess that's my point. Right now, this isn't going to, of course, I don't hope for permanent, but I'm not saying I would be supportive of that in the future, but I just want to make sure that's That's all I have.
Comments? All right, we got a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain.
Need to abstain. We got one abstention. Okay, and, favorable report, so, congratulations. Maybe you can get it on the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members committee. Andy Witt's gonna be carrying it for me, I believe, so.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You have a second? All in favor, please.
Aye.
Yes, ma'am. Landowners, not to the yards.
Hey, it's good, that's really fine, you did.
Well, we're on the red rate, stop, and then the folks are mad. This sucks. Nope, the railroad still owns the road bed. So the city was trying, no, they didn't, they wanted to. No, it's not, I just can't believe it. Yes. No, no.
And now he got road.
You did.
Yeah. He, my roommate there, got some water on our peanut side. We don't want to.
No, I mean, so, it went from Andalusia to Geneva, railroad. No, it's old railroad. It's like 50 miles.
And they took it out.
No, yeah, they took up the railroad tracks.
Well,
Yeah, I took the same, how you don't have a real spur in the town. But anyway, they took it up and City of Andalusia
We'll get it today.
build this
Thank you.
rail trail by something.
Yeah. With the general fund committee.
And the
Good luck on that.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank y'all.
Yeah, I've got a brother.
Y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
I got a friend whose son who's right next to it.
Not this.
Yeah, they don't put it in I get that. I get that.
If it went through the national forest or something, that's
Yeah,
different.
we get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Like this thing right here, this corridor that they're saying, I'm assuming that's just a highway that you get from one place to another. There will be an actual bike trail down Highway 72. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, that trail on this map here,
And these are the big corridors. You come up and
This is
red
a-
and yellow.
no, well, I'm just trying to show you, Andalusia's right about here.
Yeah.
And that trail is 40, 50 miles over here.
No, please.
Trail and the trail runs on my backyard.
40 to 50 miles.
Where it runs 50 feet.
What they wanted to do,
Long ways.
And somebody gets hurt.
there's no telling how many $1 million it would cost them to put,
When they're out.
when they tore the bridge trusses out.
Oh, that looks pretty. We'll get off
So
the
they
trail,
would have-
hang out, they take
But
pictures,
still, I
and
don't-
they get hurt, they step
I
out.
don't really care.
Break their
You're
leg.
doing right, man. You're representing people. That's
No,
doing
I
right.
just want to sue me the property. That's who-
How was your dinner last night?
An injured person.
Did you get a lot of knowledge?
Property.